Yes, alright, everybody. Welcome back to Kosi's Arsenal podcast. My name is Kosi, and how are you guys doing? Buendia, another tactical review. We need to be seeing what he has been up to in the championship because we've been linked with him for quite a while now. I think at least 6 months ever since we got out of the of the summer transfer window. We've been linked with him, throughout the January transfer window, and we are still linked with him as one of those potential players that could actually join us now in the summer. But in this video, basically, we're going to be looking at how he's been performing, what he could add to Arsenal, try to compare him with some of the players that are very, very formidable in his area, trying to compare him with some Arsenal players playing in his position, if we have any. Probably that is Emile Smith-Rowe, and see, do we actually need Emile Smith-Rowe? And that's the question, not Emile Smith-Rowe, Buendia. That's the question in this video. Just go down in the comment section and tell me, do you think Arsenal should be splashing around 40 or 35 million to sign Emiliano Buendia in the summer, a player we wanted to sign so much in January, but we couldn't because of the financial reasons that all of you do understand Arsenal face at the moment. Smash the like on the video, get your subscriptions in, and comment on this video by telling me what you think about Buendia, and do you think he is still worth that 40 million? Do you think we should be going for Emi, or should we go for Housem in the summer? It's going to be a big debate actually, because basically for me, what I think, if Arsenal is going to work well, we need a player who can play with Thomas Partey, but we also need a player who can work ahead of them. Odegaard can do that if we can sign him, but still we shall need more and more creative players. We need to let players like Dani Ceballos go. We need to let players like Granit Xhaka go. So we need to recruit very, very well in the summer. We might not have Europa League football, we might not have UEFA Champions League football. Actually, we might find ourselves for the very first time in around 20 years, Arsenal will find itself as a club that is only competing in local competitions: FA Cup, Carling Cup, and the English Premier League. Of course, I don't think we will win. We will win the league even if we are not in the UEFA Champions League or in the Europa League. But it really adds for me. It adds a lot. And this season, if it were not for the FA Cup, I wanted us to stay out of Europe. I just wanted us to stay out of the Europa League. The reason was because, one, I felt we had a very small squad. Games were going to come in, thick and fast, and we had a new manager who needed a lot of time to settle in. So I wanted us to stay out of the Europa League, but we were unfortunate enough to win the FA Cup, so that threw us into the Europa League, and now we are suffering the way we are suffering now because we have Thursday football now, Thursday night football against Benfica, on the next 48 hours. But I'll talk about that. So basically, my argument with Buendia is going to come after these statistics, but really, don't get me wrong, I think he's a talented boy. He's a very good player. He's good at what he does. He's very good in his department. We are going to compare him with some of the players, and you're going to see he's not far away from those players that really create chances, the Grealish, the Kevin De Bruyne, and the others. He's not very far away. But my problem and my concern is, should Arsenal actually spend that much for him? And let's now get down into the scouting report. Like I said, I always use FP Ref to get these statistics, so please do cross-check the channel, cross-check their website, and see if I'm giving you the right statistics with these players. First and foremost, non-penalty goals per 90, that is 0.14. But look, I think this is a little bit unfair. This season, he's scored 8 goals in this season and created 7 chances. And now, according to this website, he scores 0.14 goals per 90. That is very low, and his expected goal ratio per 90 stands at 0.04. Now that means he's so below average, because if you look at most of the players that play in his position, at least their goal expectation per 90, you look at Carl Toko Ekambi, stands at 0.58, so he needs to work on that really as fast as possible. Shots, he stands at 1.50, which is not bad. That is per 90. If you look at in this category, then Lionel Messi's is leading it with 5.2, but he's still below average. The average would be 2.14, so he needs to work on that as well. Assists, per 90 is not. I really don't know why they're saying they're going for a 0.0 in assists, but at least his expected assist ratio stands at a 0.12. If you look into that category, Angel Di Maria leads there with 0.50. I think you can understand, because Di Maria really creates a lot, and I think Emi Buendia as well really creates a lot, especially when it comes to this season and last season. But of course, for me, I really don't blame midfielders when they do make assists, but they are creating chances, because it really goes back to what kind of strikers do you have, what kind of finishers do you have, and how prolific are they. He's been at Norwich, and what was that striker's name? I'm forgetting his name. I'm really forgetting his name. The striker at Norwich, that old man, Pookie. Pookie is not one of those, those strikers that really score goals. So Emi creates the chances, but they are not converted, and this is really clear. And we shall actually go to the shot creating actions. If you look at his number of goals expected, and plus the number of assists expected in the game, then he stands at 0.16. Then his shot creating actions rise to 3.69, and here that is 65%. He is above average, and here the average bar is a little bit high because it is at 3.40. He is above that. Below Messi stands at 7.68. So I think that actually creates some sense. Their passes attempted, that is 51.21 per 90. And if you look at in that category, Lionel Messi again leading, but the average bar is very high still at 39.5. Of course, Emi at 51.21, and then Lionel Messi at 71.21. Of course, Messi is exceptional, isn't he? If you look at the pass completion per 90, that is 70%. Now here he is below average. Can you imagine? Antoine Griezmann stands at 87.7 and 87.0. He leads in this category. The average is 75, and Emi stands at 70. Of course, he needs to work on that. If you are a midfielder, if you want to create chances, if you are going to control the game, if you're really a progressive player and you want to dribbles, your passes, you need them to be that successful, and I think it really needs to work on that as well. Progressive passes, he stands at 4.5 1 per 90, putting him at 85%, and he is above average, an average that is at 3.40, just below Lionel Messi, who stands at 9.45. Messi really is setting the bar so high for these players, isn't he? Progressive carries, he stands at 6.69, and the average is 6.48. A big, a very high bar, but he beats it. And you know what? Messi stands at 14.7 progressive ball carry. So that means if you had Messi, then you wouldn't want to have Emi Buendia, because I mean, judging him at at where he is, but the fact that he's playing in the championship and the quality of players surrounding him, I think those are very decent statistics on that side. Then dribbles completed per 90, he stands at 3.28, and that is a 96%. He doesn't lead in the category though, because Adama Traore stands at a 5.77 per 90. So, but he is obviously above average by far, because the average mark there is 1.8 dribbles completed per 90. Then touches in the penalty area, he stands at 0.96. So that means he really doesn't engage in play when it comes to inside the penalty area. He always loves to be outside the penalty area. Pressures, that is 25.54. I mean, this is tremendous. Is he leading in this category? That would be interesting to see. No, actually he isn't leading, because the player leading there is Trezeguet at Aston Villa with 23.94. The average there is actually 15.9. 2.9, and it's interesting. Javino here is in the low category, but I think he applies real good pressure, because this is he applies, these are 25 times 0.54 when he applies pressure on an opponent. That is good. Tackles, he stands at 3.55 in the category, in his category. That's 99%, but again, he doesn't lead in the category because Daniel Cagliari actually stands at 2.99, and that is high. I don't know why he's above him. Interceptions, he stands at 0.82, and that averages to 77%. Blocks 1.91, again runs to 91%. Clearance is 1.09. Running to 91% as well. Look at players like Alon Nyom standing at 2.56 in that category, and then aerial balls won. Actually, what's interesting, he wins more aerial balls than players like Elton Edward, because we did look at Elton Edward in the recent video. And Marcus Thuram here in aerial balls actually wins in this category. So that is what you can think about Emi Buendia when it comes to what he can actually do on the pitch per 90. And if you look at the players that he is actually compared with, Daniel Cagliari at Augsburg, Marc Cucurella at Getafe, Diop at Monaco, Andreas Town at Crystal Palace, Dwight McNeil at Burnley, Javier Ontiveros at Huesca, Jean-Paul Botis at Mainz 05. Then you have Eze at Crystal Palace. You have Alex Berenga at the Athletic Club, and then you have Lucas Moura at Tottenham Hotspur. So those are the interesting statistics. We can talk about Emi Buendia, but still he is that kind of player that I think Arsenal would do away. Did I say do away? Wouldn't do away with. I think he's that kind of player. Even if you don't get Emi Buendia, you need that kind of player who actually adds more creativity to your side. You can't have Emily Smith Rowe and Emi Buendia and Martin Odegaard only, or on Dennis Ceballos. And I think it's gonna be a tough decision at the end of the season, but it should be in this way, that if Arsenal do not actually get the chance to sign Dennis Ceballos on a permanent, which we shouldn't try to even do, then we can actually sign Emi Buendia on a permanent deal, so 4 years, 3 years. I think that would actually really do work for us. It would be a very, very good deal. So that is Emi Buendia. How can he actually transform Arsenal in that midfield? The answers are really, really easy to see. We just need that kind of player that adds more chances to the fire, more firewood to the to the fireplace. And for me, I think it's Emi. I think he can do it. I think he's that he has that potential. He's done it at Norwich for 2 consecutive seasons in the Premier League football, even the Championship. So there's no reason as why Arsenal wouldn't actually decide to sign him if we wanted to. So, and I think he's that kind of Mikel Arteta player. If you've watched him play, 1, he loves the speed, 2, the dribbling, and 3, he always loves to have that ball on his board. Arteta loves, have that ball, pass it, get it back, have it on your on your foot, don't lose it. If you can be that kind of player, you can actually play in his 4-3-3. Either we might not see Arteta's 4-3-3, or we shall see it next season when he plays, when he signs players like Emi Buendia. So for me, that is Emi Buendia, and how Arsenal could actually, go about his deal. He could be 40 million. It's very, very expensive, and I know many Arsenal fans are really gonna cry as if they're gonna pay the money. That deal is very expensive, and they're gonna say, why don't we sign Odegaard? He's just 35 million pounds. But the question is, if you sign Odegaard and he gets injured, where do you go from there? I don't have an answer for that, but use the comment box to tell me what you think about Emi.